Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, clearly, I enjoy eyeshadow, singles, duochromes, multichromes, but I also enjoy face palettes, and this is going to be my face palette collection and declutter. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me. We're getting into it right now. Now, I will admit that most of this is probably not going to be decluttered because I did a massive declutter about a year ago, and those videos are up on my channel, so if you want to take a look at that, you can. But this is going to go through, and I'm going to try to pare down my collection, anything I don't really need, and just kind of show you everything that I do have. So I figured I'd start with face palettes today. I'm filming these out of order, of course, so what I start with is a little irrelevant, but to talk about, this is the Dawn face palette from Midas and Neon. It looks like this. So I really enjoy this palette. I love that you have a bronzer and a contour shade in here. The blush is very like pink toned for me. I'd rather something a little bit warmer, but I understand why they did this because it was designed for those with the fairest skin tones who usually lean on the cool side. And this highlight is very much like a ColourPop like Super Shock highlight. It's so, oh my gosh, so pretty. So I definitely want to keep this palette around so that I can keep playing with it. So this is the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Blush Palette. Obviously it has this absolutely gorgeous packaging, and then inside you get 6 really pretty blushes. This one can definitely be used a little bit as a bronzer for me, just because of how fair I am. And then I love this one because it's like so luminous. I probably won't swatch everything, but sometimes I have no chill, so we'll see. Definitely keeping that though. The next one to talk about, this is the Cali Kissed Smashbox palette. This is the second iteration. This is actually the first. This is the Cali Contour palette. I love both of these. Let me see if I can pop them open both at the same time. Good lord. So I really enjoy both of these palettes. I think they both serve very different purposes. This one I love for kind of that like sunburn, out in the sun, kind of beachy vibe. And then this one I love for just the like really bright colors here. You've got some beautiful blushes here. The highlights are nice. This highlight is definitely a little deep for me. That's definitely more of like a luminous bronzer for me. And then this I don't think I could use as anything other than like maybe a blush topper or an eyeshadow because it is so pink. But I think these are really pretty and they're compact, so they're definitely staying. The next one to talk about, this is the Becca and Jaclyn Hill palette. This is when she released the Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop. Sorry, the lighting is going to get a little crazy because of the gold background, but these shades are actually still in really good condition. They swatch really nicely. They've got beautiful pigmentation. Oh my gosh. Dug my nail into that one apparently, but these still look really pretty. I love this blush so much. It's kind of that like rosewood rosy kind of flush, and then occasionally I'll use these two blushes together as sort of like a base and then like a luminous topper, so definitely will be keeping this one as well. The next one to talk about, this is the Milani, what is this called? Floral Fantasy Rose Powder Blush Set. And it looks like this. It's very pretty. The actual shades in it are very soft, very beautiful kind of like rosewoody shades. I think I'll definitely hang on to that because I'm really getting into blushes that look like this right now, so I'll be hanging on to that one, even though it's really chunky. Like, that's an unnecessarily thick packaging, but it's whatever. This is the Tattoo Junkies Glow Light palette, and I got this in a box exchange that I did with my aunt. The actual powders themselves are pretty like soft and nice, but I feel like I already have these shades a couple times over in other formulas, so I think I'll probably pass this one along. This is the Tarte Hamptons Weekender palette. Even just opening this palette, I can already smell the vanilla scent in it, and I love that. This bronzer is fantastic. I love the blush. I love the highlight, so I'll definitely be keeping this. It's a perfect travel palette because it's so small and so convenient. This is the Wanderess Dusk to Dawn palette. It's got 2 blushes and a highlighter. I think I can let this one go because I have some other palettes that I think I would reach to before I reach to this one, and the pans are kind of small for me for blushes, so I'm going to let this one go. This is the Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced, and was this one starting to get a little bit of hard pan? No, actually, wow. Ooh, no. And it does still smell like peaches, so I'm definitely going to keep this one. I struggled so hard to get these palettes, so I'm definitely going to hang on to these until they go bad on me. This is the Wander Beauty Trip for 2 palette. I actually did not get this palette. My aunt got it in a BoxyCharm, and she was so kind to send it to me. I absolutely love the formula on these. This bronzer is like so perfect for my skin tone, and this blush is like just a great flush to the cheeks. It's a really nice size for travel, so I'll be hanging on to this one for sure. Alright, let's talk about a little bit of Hourglass here. This is, I think, the only face palette I have from them, and I think it's the Edit Volume 4. Yeah, this is the Ambient Light Edit Volume 4. I do really like this palette. It's good for travel, which is what I usually use it for. This blush here that's kind of like a raspberry tone is so pretty. I really like using that one a lot, so I'll be hanging on to this palette for sure because I really enjoy using it for travel and even at home. This is a pretty new little guy to my collection. This is from ColourPop. It is the Extra Glazed Cheek Palette. It has a Super Shock highlighter and then 3 blushes. I like everything about this palette, definitely keeping. Although I don't love that the clasp seems to have broke, but that's okay. This is the BH Vanilla Cream Truffle Palette, and these are kind of these like kind of rosy shades. Oh my gosh, and they smell so good. They have a beautifully soft formula. If you see these on sale, I would definitely pick one up if there's a color story that really speaks to you, because they are truly beautiful blushes. Alright, let's talk about these 2 little guys here. These are from e.l.f. They're the bite-sized face palettes. I have Lychee and Cantaloupe here. I haven't actually gotten to use these yet on my channel, and I'm really excited to, so I'm going to hang on to these. Plus, this Lychee is the only, oh sorry, I think this is Cantaloupe, yeah. This Cantaloupe shade is the only like yellowy blush I really have, so definitely want to hang on to that one. The Too Faced Natural Face Palette. This, I lusted after this for a really long time, and I finally broke down and got it in a BoxyCharm, and I was so happy to get it. I know some people were really disappointed to get it, but I think this is a great palette. I love the bronzers in here. I love this blush. This blush is way too radioactive pink for me, and I like the highlighter here, the Satin Sheets. This Starlight highlighter is one of those like pinky kind of gold duochrome highlights. Not really my favorite, but I think this is really great, especially for summer. This is the Cheek Stars Reunion Tour. This is from Benefit. This is one of the last things I ever bought from Benefit because I really wanted this highlighter in Cookie, and the highlighter itself is $30. So when I saw it come out in this collection and this was $60, I was like, okay, that's somewhat of a reasonable deal because you get 5 full-size powders. And then this actually went on sale for $30, and I found a site that also gave me free shipping. So I ended up getting this whole thing for $30, so I'll be hanging on to it. I really hate this wasted space with this dumb brush, but I do really like this highlighter. I think it's absolutely a gorgeous luminous highlighter, and I really like this Georgia Peach blush. It's like a peachy luminous blush, so very happy with this purchase. Next up, I have the Blush Lighter palette. This is from Beauty Bakery, and I really like this palette. It's like an unsung hero palette. I know Emily Noel talks about this palette a lot, but the shades in here are just so pretty, and they just have this beautiful like luminosity to them that I don't see everywhere else. I love the colors. I think they're absolutely beautiful. They mix and match together so well. I don't reach for this palette as often as I definitely should, so I'm going to keep it and work on using it a little bit more. And I have another palette from them, but it's buried like way down in there, so we'll keep going on this pile here. I do have 2 of the Tarteist Pro Glow palettes. This was the original that had the bronzers. There's a cream bronzer here. Or is this cream contour? It's hard to tell. This one definitely pulls a little bit more cool tone than this one, but they're both pretty brown. And then you've got like some highlighter, and this would be like a bronzer topper for me for sure. I really like this. It still smells perfectly vanilla, so I'm gonna hang on to this one as well. And then the Pro Glow and Blush. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm as well. It's been a while, so I can't say for sure. But a bunch of blushes, a luminous bronzer, and one highlighter. Perfect for travel. Still smells perfectly good, so I'm going to hang on to that one too. Like I said, you guys, this isn't going to be a huge declutter because I did a very big declutter very recently. Recently enough for me, a year ago. But this is mostly a collection video, and then a couple of things I'm going to pull out along the way that I just really don't think I need anymore. So we'll talk about this little guy next. This is the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. This palette is phenomenal. If you guys have never tried it, I would definitely recommend it. It's a really nice palette for... It's a really nice palette for this like kind of cream contour. You can kind of buff it in really easily. It stays put. So I really enjoy it. I typically use this one, and sometimes we'll mix in a little bit of that one. This can be used as like an under eye brightening cream, but I tend not to use that. I tend to just use like powders and stuff for that. So I really like it even just for these two shades. Alright, this is the Colored Rain and Power collection. I really loved the show. I definitely picked this one up because of the show. The blush it's a very like bright blush. You really have to kind of like sheer it out so that it doesn't look quite so crazy. That's where that blush is. And then the highlighter, same thing. It's a very, very bright luminous highlighter. Almost a little bit too deep for my skin, but I think it's really pretty and I want to hang on to it because I don't have a lot of Colored Rain in my collection, and I love the collab, like all of the collab artwork and everything. I love it. This is the Pure and Barbie blush palette, which I do also really like. One of the few palettes I have that has an orange blush in it, so I'll be hanging on to this one for sure. I love the little pan designs. I think it's really cute, so it's staying. This is the Wet n Wild and My Melody and Chromie palette. This is the only thing that I got from that collection. I thought about the palettes. I still sometimes think about those eyeshadow palettes, but I did not get them. I really love the formula on these highlighters. You have this beautiful like purple to gold duochromatic highlighter. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And then this one is more of like a pinky to silver type highlighter. Very, very pretty, and the blushes are really pretty. I think this is about as purple as I can get safely, but I do have another purple palette to show you here in a moment. Really like the formula on this though. Love the big pans, so I'll definitely keep it. And then this is the Zulman highlighter palette from Odin's Eye, and this one is really, really pretty. So even though everything looks kind of white on screen, this is more of like a champagne color. You've got kind of this peachy color. This is an iridescent blue highlighter, and then this one is sort of like it reflects like a gold yellow color, but it has almost like a blue iridescent base to it. It's really pretty. I like all of these. I love the formula. I love the packaging. Hello. So I'll be definitely keeping that. And then Glowing in Grease from BH Cosmetics. I love these BH Cosmetics palettes. I know they're not always like super useful for everybody, which is fine. I got this one on sale. I love the 3 shades here for blush, and I do like these shades here for like a highlighter kind of blush topper type shades. This one is a little bit too dark for me, so I don't tend to gravitate towards that one, but the rest of the palette I really enjoy using, so I'll be keeping that one. Alright, let's pull in this whole set here. So this is the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. I got this in a Rach Loves Beauty box curation thing, and I actually really like this palette. I think it's a really versatile palette. You've got a couple luminous shades up here, and then everything else is matte. You've got stuff that's more cool toned, you've got stuff that's more warm toned, you've got some darker shades, you've got some lighter shades. So I feel like this is a really versatile palette, so I'll definitely be hanging on to this one. Next, this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea highlighting palette, the Skin Twinkle Volume 2. Good lord, ridiculous name. But anyway, it looks like this, and I actually really like this highlighter collection. I tend to stick between these 2 shades here. I will occasionally dip into these 2 just to deepen things up a little bit, but this still smells like vanilla. It's still very, very like soft to the touch, so I'll be keeping this one for sure. This is the Vintage and Jessica Lead Skinned palette, and it's just this little duo. You've got kind of a rosy pink and then kind of this like chocolatey gold, and I love this one because it's the chocolatey gold shade that's in here is actually still kind of light enough for me to use on my skin, even if it's not necessarily like a full-on highlight. It can sometimes be like a bronzer topper for me or a blush topper. I've mixed this with several other things I've swatched already, but I think it has a really pretty luminosity, so I'll definitely hang on to this one. Alright, this is the Nikki Tutorials Highlighting Trio. It looks like this. I picked it up so that I would have Glazed Donut and, what is it, Space Baby? Yeah, Space Baby, which is a blue iridescent, and then this was the one that she was like so known for, this like super icy white kind of shade here. So I'll definitely be hanging on to that because I really love the formula, even though the brand is just doing the damn most right now. The Flower Beauty Shimmer and Strobe palette. This is another classic palette. These are so creamy and beautiful. I tend to use just these first two shades. I don't tend to reach for this gold as much, but they are absolutely stunning and I really enjoy using them. I don't even think you can see that because my lights are like really overblowing my skin tone, but that's okay. I want to make sure you can see the palettes. That's the most important part. Although keeping them in frame is quite a struggle for me at the moment. I'm using a new setup at the moment, you guys, which is why this is kind of a little bit more challenging for me, but bear with me. So this is the Coming to America Woman Beauty face palette. Really, really like the soft texture of these. Mostly they're too deep for me, so I use them more for like eyeshadowy kind of things, but I just think since I have the whole collection, I want to keep the whole collection together. So I've kept it for that reason, and I'm going to keep working on it. I have two of these little guys left. I picked these up during like 2 years ago during Christmas time, and I had points, so I actually got these for free. My whole haul was like 11 cents and I got like $200 worth of stuff. I really like this one because it's a blush, bronzer, and highlight. The other one I think is just two blushes and a highlighter. Am I right on that? Yes, it is. And I have not actually touched this one at all. This is the Nomad and Sydney Blathers palette. It looks like this. It is an absolutely beautiful bronzer and highlighter palette. This makes a great highlight shade here, and oof, yeah. And then these, I tend to just like mix my brush between all three of these and use as a bronzer. So I really like this palette. It's great for travel, so I'll be keeping that one. Talk about this little guy. This is the IBY Beauty Highlight and Contour Palette. It looks like this. I made a pretty good dent in these two shades, and I was using a little bit of this one for like an under eye setting powder for a while. I think because of some of the other, well, do I want to keep this one? I'm going to put it in maybe pile. I may keep this one because I do have some other palettes that I like to use, so let me put that in the maybe pile. This is the Park Avenue Princess palette, and it is a bronzer slash contour palette. I think this is really the only shade you can get away with as a contour, and it's really only going to work for like fair skinned people, but I think this is great. It smells so good. I really enjoy using this one, so definitely a keeper. So I picked up this highlight and contour palette, I think in like a BoxyCharm at some point, and I was using it for a little while, and then I kind of was struggling with the whole contour concept, so I put it to the side, and then eventually I picked up the Profusion Pro Contour palette, which is an exact dupe for the KVD Shade and Light contour palette, which I now also have because I got it in a mystery box. So since I have the KVD palette, I think I'm going to let go of the Profusion Pro Contour palette, and then I'm going to keep this IBY palette in case I want to travel, or sometimes I like to keep one upstairs and one downstairs so that I can more easily film without rushing everything up and downstairs for stuff that's not really going to be any different each time I use it. Contour shade is contour shade. Okay. Moonchild from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Absolutely gorgeous duochrome palette. I really enjoy this Lucky Clover shade. Pink Heart is gorgeous. These kind of bluey purple shades are a little harder to work with to make them look nice, but I do really enjoy the palette, so I'm definitely going to hang on to it. And then I have this Island Time palette, which I picked up from Ofra a long time ago, probably at least a year, if not a little bit longer. And I've kept it because the shades are actually really interesting and unique to my collection. This really bright kind of peachy shade, and then this really pretty kind of like corally pink fuchsia shade, I think are really unique to my collection. And I love the Bali highlighter. I think it is so, so pretty. Definitely designed for a deeper skin tone than mine, but it looks really nice as a blush topper on me. So I definitely want to keep this palette. This Too Faced little heart palette, this is the Soulmates Ross and Rachel palette, and I just picked this up because this came out even before I really got into makeup. I found it on Mercari unused, and I don't really use it, but I think it's really pretty, and I love the whole like Friends aesthetic for it, so I keep it around for that reason. Now we have this little Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette, so I am going to keep this one around. This is something that my husband purchased for me. The bronzer is a little bit light for me, and the highlight I think is really flattering, although it's not a super blinding highlight, so I'm definitely going to keep this one around, and it's perfect for travel because of its very compact size. This MAC palette, this is from holiday 2018, I think. I found it at Marshall's unused and picked it up. I really love this highlighter shade. It's absolutely beautiful. The blush I really love. The bronzer got a little bit of hard pan on me, but when I was just digging around before my camera cut off, it actually picked up a good amount of color. So you can see the highlighter is right here, the blush is here, and the bronzer is down here. So it's a really, really pretty collection. I like the packaging, so definitely going to keep that one. And then I have this Alamar Cosmetics Coral Blush Trio. These are really pretty. I would love to get the bronzer trio. These are so, so soft. I love how soft these are. And I love that this is like a bit of a luminous kind of a blush. They're kind of orangey, corally shades. You can see them right there. Very, very pretty. And I love how nicely they blend. It's a pretty sleek little item, so I'm going to hang on to that as well. This was a gift from a lovely friend of mine, Emily, and she picked this out for I think Christmas one year and gave to me, and I think it is really, really pretty. I've definitely dug into it several times for this as a highlighter or blush topper. This is a blush and this is a bronzer for sure. The other shades I don't use as often, but I do think it's a really pretty palette, and I will definitely keep it. All right. This is one of my favorite blush palettes actually, or face palettes. This is the Lorac and Pirates of the Caribbean collab. This is the face palette that came out. I love these highlighters. Oh my gosh, they're so soft and beautiful. This blush is really, really pretty. I love the bronzer shade as well. It's very light, so it doesn't work for everybody, but for me it looks great, so I'm definitely going to be keeping that one. This is the other Beauty Bakery palette that I have, which is the Milk and Honey palette. I love, love the packaging for this. And then the actual highlighters are very pretty as well. I definitely want to keep this one and keep using it. I know it doesn't look like I've used it at all, but I have actually, and these highlighters are ridiculously stunning. Like, hello. So, so pretty. Definitely keeping it. And I'll just swatch out those highlighters for you since I've already got them on my hand. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. All right, this is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter Palette, and this was a gift from my lovely aunt, BTK Unfiltered, and I love these. These are so nice. They actually have like similar tones to the Milk and Honey palette, but a little bit lighter and a little bit more golden. I think it's a really pretty palette. The formula is lovely, so definitely be hanging on to this one. And that's the 4 shade swatch there, and that's the Milk and Honey palette. So you kind of have a pinky one in both, you kind of have a white one in both, although the Beauty Bakery one is definitely a little bit lighter. This is the Reach Loves and Pixie palette, which I also really like. I think they could definitely do with designing a deeper version of this one, but basically the whole goal is you take these two and kind of mix in one of these three, and I really like that. Even this one on its own is so, so pretty. This one obviously I don't use as often, but it has this really pretty like purple reflect to it, and I don't see that a lot in highlighters, so definitely going to keep this one. Okay, you guys, we're almost there, thank God. Let me turn this around. Not that it matters, but this is the Summer of Love palette from Trixie Cosmetics, and it looks like this inside. It is so, so cute. I do really like this palette as well. I love the formula for these, so definitely going to hang on to this one. And then the other one that I have from her is this one, which is the Back to the Fuchsia palette, which as soon as it like launched, I wanted it so badly, even though I hadn't swatched it yet, so, or nobody had swatched it yet. There was no video of this online for us to really see, so I kind of bought it not really knowing what I was getting into, and I think it's pretty, but I think this highlight is a little bit challenging to work with, and I think you definitely have to go in with like a very, very light hand to get that one to work. So just something to be aware of if you have a fair skin tone like me. On a deeper skin tone, that might be absolutely fabulous, even if you like caked it on. This is the BH Froze palette, which Teresa is dead convinced me to buy in one of her really old videos. Oh my gosh. So I really like this one. It's got a lot of like pinky iridescent kind of highlightery shades, and then I love this shade here. It's almost like, it's like a silver, but like with like this hint of a pink base. It's a really pretty highlighter, so I'm definitely going to keep this whole palette. Then I have these shades. This is from a brand that doesn't exist anymore called Sparrow Cosmetics. I picked these up to do a video with, and I was not in love with the formula. I think it's a little bit dry, but the actual like reflectiveness of these is like insane. And two of these have like actual larger pieces of glitter put in them, so you can see them right there. Like they're all super, super reflective, very, very pretty. Two of these, let's see if I can back this up a little bit. These two pans right here, have glitter in them, so they get like a little bit glittery on the cheeks, but the rest of them are very, very smooth. They do have a really pretty like shine and finish to them, so I guess I might hang on to these for a little while longer, but yeah, they were not what I was expecting them to be. And then I have the Juvia's Place Saharian Blush Volume 2. This is a really nice palette, especially like come fall. This is going to be really pretty for some kind of warmer fall blushes. These could be blush toppers for sure. Again, another kind of like purpley, although I've just made it very luminescent, but really pretty blush. So I want to hang on to this one to get a little bit more use out of it as well. And then my last one to talk about is the Natasha Denona Diamond M Blush Palette. I think that's everything in my face palette collection. So this one is definitely really pretty. I picked this up on a huge discount. I think I got it ultimately for about $20, which I think is reasonable considering it originally was $88. I love this like super diamondy shade here. I mean, it just picks up like a lot of like glittery kind of particles. You have this really pretty like highlightery shade here. The cream blush is gorgeous. This base works perfectly for the highlighters, so I'm definitely going to keep using this one until it expires on me. Alright you guys, and as you can see, my hand, my arm, my everything needs wiped off. I am going to sign off of this video, but definitely make sure you check out the other videos that are going to be coming in this collection. I want to show you my entire makeup collection over the next couple of weeks, so definitely stay tuned for those. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!